Now continuing further with our deliberations with our discussions on this 2D arrays. Okay, so let's just have a look at how we can initialize. So we've seen these 2D arrays, now we can initialize. As you may recall, this is how we declare a 5-element rather, let's say this is how we declare. So a 5-element array, when we initialize this array, this is what we do. Now we can also obviously, when we print this array, so let's come down to this. We can use a while loop. We can introduce another integer here. We'll call it loop 2. Loop 2 rows, and we'll initialize it to 0. Now the point is that this loop 2 we are actually going to use for the single row char array. So in effect, it's an array of one row only. So once again, in effect, we only have the need for I beg your pardon. Let's make this because we could put only one row, so we're only going for columns here. This is only one row, so we're only going for columns here. So loop 2 columns is less than 5. Okay, so loop 2 columns being less than 5. And which is going to print. So printf and %c with a little gap. Char array. And let me reuse this to something like 11, and it's much better that way. And I'll put this to 10 because otherwise it becomes too unmanageable. This is a bit large. Let's put this to 10. So run it. Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. Yes, my bad. Yeah, sorry, we need to do a plus here. Once again, a silly mistake. There's a bit of a silly mistake in there. Now let's just run it. So farms, and then it's waiting for the output for the previous one. Okay. There we are. So more or less that's what it is. Now we know that we do it like this. Then what about initializing your 2D arrays, multi-dimensional arrays? How do we initialize that? Okay, so we need to simply use pairs of brackets. So how do we do it? Let's just see. Now we go to initialize a multi-dimension multi-dimensional array. Okay, so we're going to initialize multi-dimensional array, and how do we do that? Initialize multi-dimensional array, and how do we do that? Let's deal with the char array once again. Now we have already got a char 2D array, so let us name it char 2D array 1. Or let's name it char 2D array, say 2. And let's give it the same more or less the same dimensions. So we have more or less the same dimensions. This time we're going to initialize the array. Now as you can imagine, I'm going to have to come to the next line because of the reason, because of the fact that we have. Now you would normally, if it's a one row array, you put it all within these couple of curly braces and get it over with. That's good, but this time it is not going to be so. You cannot have it that way. So when you realize that one pair of curly braces is good enough for one row, can you imagine that you are going to have need a few pairs of braces for each of the rows. How many pairs of braces? Well, to be precise, 3 pairs of braces. Why? Why 3 pairs of braces? Because there are 3 rows. There's 3 rows here and 11 columns. So you need 3 pairs of braces, okay, with 11 elements in it. So we need, within these brackets, we need 2, 3. Let's put in the values there. So we've got 11 in each of those. Achha, let's make it smaller. Just for my own sake, I'm making it smaller. Three, 4, 5. Let me copy this bit. Sorry. It's very difficult. No. Right, so copy, paste, sorry, and paste. Let's start off with this one. We can put in numericals as well. Mind you, these are not numbers. These are only numeric characters. Here, let's put in some special characters. So here, let's put in a new line. This thing. Okay, so special characters and numeric characters. Now, obviously, we need another set of variables. Let's just copy this for the timing. Now mind you, you obviously can do it using one set of variables, definitely, but as I said that in software engineering, we've already done that before, but as I said, in software engineering, we avoid doing that just to avoid mistakes. When we are making an industry-grade software, we cannot afford any mistakes. There is no dearth of memory space these days in any computers whatsoever. So if you use separate loops, separate counters for separate loops, then your chances of getting the counters mismatched, or the problems that I have been doing when I've been teaching you, silly mistakes, right? For example, not initializing to 0 or not reinitializing to 0 or something like that. Those kind of those kind of influences actually disappear. So let's just copy this and paste it here. And this obviously will have to be renamed. This is loop 3 rows. Loop 3 columns. And now, okay, when we've already done this, now let's just see, we've already got a couple of loops ready for us. So why don't we just copy from there? For example, this loop, this was scanf, so let's just take for this one. Okay, let's just copy, paste it somewhere over here. I'm keeping the first loops always at the end because those need to be those need some inputs. I'll just keep it at the end. So I'll just paste it here. And all of these I will change this to loop 3 rows. Now I don't know, see, you don't need to do this here obviously, but it's always good practice to assign your variables before the loop starts, so that if you have actually forgotten about it, then that's not a problem. And this is loop 3 rows, and this is loop 1 columns. Just 3 columns. Loop 3 rows is 3, and actually the cat to the array 2 is 3 and 5. So once, so that's 3, and this is columns, so this is 5, and this is cat to the array 2. Okay, and this is going to be loop 3 columns, and this is going to be loop 3 rows. Sorry, loop 3 rows plus loop 3 columns, cat to the array 2. So all of that is there. Let's run this. Empty character constant. Where is it? Okay. Yeah, that one went wrong. So Let's change this to something else. Say, Saturday time. That's really okay. Yes, that's true. And this should be 3 rows once again. It's bad thing about copying and pasting is that you don't always remember. Is that what I did? What is the name? Oh. Okay, so there we are. Our arrays. The star has been printed with farms because there was no new line there, so it has been printed from there. And so there you go, all of it there. And it is obviously expecting some inputs. There we are. So you can see how we have initialized. Okay, this is we initialize the multidimensional arrays. And how have we done that? Basically, we've done it in this way that each row encloses each row enclosed in this, and so we are using nested brackets. Well, I mean second brackets. Okay. So number of pairs of the number of pairs of braces is equal to the number of rows. Should I consequences? Oh, sorry. Let me just put after this. Let me just put a printf with a yes, there we go. Okay. So you see star, and then this is a new line, so it prints a new line, then the question mark, and so on and so forth. So you see, running it. So you see star and then a new line. Obviously, we are asking it to print a new line, and then question mark, and then at the rate sign, and then dollar sign. Then I need 76501 234. We're not going to expand it further. We can just stop it here because we've already seen the next loop, how to print in terms of strings, how to print in terms of characters. Both we have seen this, and we've seen the initialization of this as well.